Hello there, Sunni Fung here. I hope you're all doing good and welcome to this video. As you may know, I have unboxed a case which has, spawned a bit of interest from a few people. It's the SGPC K39 V2, which kind of got unboxed in this. And I'm going to make a build on it today. Yeah, you heard right, I'm going to make a build on it today. I'm going to record a build. There's a slight difference in terms of the case, you'll see in a sec, but you know what? I'll switch over to the other camera and we will work from there instead. That'll make life easier. So, yeah, this is the setup we've got on my desk. Why am I building my desk? Because it's probably the best place I can do any kind of recording in, I suppose, at parents' house. And yeah, the reason I'm wearing shorts, as you can probably all see, is because it is currently 27 degrees in my room and it's roasting hot outside. I open my window, it gets warmer in here. Don't ask me how it works, but that's just how it's been all day. Right, so where do we start? We start with the star of the show, which is the SGPC K39. In this case, this one is in red. Same case, different colour. This one does have slight damage on the inside. I don't know if it's something that's visible or not, but if I can just get the camera angle correct, I might be able to show it. Yeah, in that corner there, you might see some marks. Very difficult to see on camera, but basically, the case also this red case also shipped with a screwdriver in there, and it was inside, which then obviously during shipping moved around a bit, and it caused some damage on the inside, which is a shame, but it is what it is. Right. Then here for the CPU, I've got an Intel Core i7-9700K. Don't know if I can zoom. Oh god, it's so bright I can't. You know what? It's where I take it out of here now. See if that shows itself. There we go. i7-9700K CPU. That there. That's aside. The CPU cooler got the Thermalright AXP-90/I. Full, which I've done a bit of a comparison on with a 9900K. At some point, I'll be taking this apart again to do further comparisons because I'm planning on delidding this thing, this 9700K, and doing some thermal comparisons, before and after delid with a custom copper IHS and without it, etc. and liquid metal. As you can also see at the bottom, it is currently a bit tarnished. That's because of the liquid metal application. It shouldn't affect any thermals though. We got to the side. Next thing we got is this, which is the MSI GeForce RTX 2070 Aero ITX. This is the graphics card which I've done a bit of thermal testing on already. This has got liquid metal applied to it. It's a small card, 174mm in length, and just about fits in this case because the maximum supported graphics card length is 180mm. So yeah. This is going to be ideally the star of the show. Well, then again, everything here is the star of the show. Here we've got a PCI-E extension cable ribbon, which I've got with the case. This motherboard here is the ASRock Z390 Phantom Gaming-ITX/AC, which I think Optimum Tech did a review on and said it was really good. And I've got this myself. I've added a few little heatsinks here and there, not that it's needed. I have pre-installed the M.2 SSD already. In here, so you won't see me installing that. I'm going to keep this on here because I'm going to need that very shortly. Here, got 2 sticks of Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro memory. This is 2 sticks of 16 gig, so it totals 32 gig. Speeds are 3200 megahertz with CL16 timings. The last major component of this PC is here. Not something that you'll see very often. If you can get it in the UK or whatever, or other countries, good luck. It's an enhanced EMP7660B, which is a 600 watt 80 plus platinum power flex ATX power supply. We've got ketchup and mustard cables. At some point, once again, I'll take this apart and I will look to custom sleeve these because yeah, this doesn't exactly look too good. I might consider changing the lengths of the cables. I'm definitely going to change the fan as well at some point, but that's for another video. So first things first. You already know the M.2 SSD is already installed. So, proceed with the usual step one, which is installing the CPU. So in this case, retention arm, push down, move to the side, pull it out, up, bang. CPU, place into the socket, retention arm down, under the hook, push down, slide back in, bang, this comes off. So now you can see that the CPU is installed without issue. That's fine. The next interesting part comes in the CPU cooler. Ah, yes, this CPU cooler. I did have a question provided to me by one of my viewers who looked at this CPU cooler review and mentioned how it looks like the fins and the heatsink were touching the VRM heatsink as well as the RAM. The reason that was to be is because if you tried to install it, 90 degrees from the way I installed it, the heat pipes would prevent the heatsink actually even being actually mounted. You can't mount it with it like that. It just doesn't work. That's why I mounted the way I did. Right, now, this CPU cooler is held down with four thumb screws. Well, I say 4 thumb screws. These have got threads on them. I've also got a plastic washer here, which should be adhered to the thumb screw, but it isn't. So I'll take them all off now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Something I always like to do, clean the surface. Do some cotton buds. Just one's enough, I think, in this case. And some isopropyl alcohol to clean the surface with. So just get some on the end of this and give this bad boy a clean down. Do the same with the CPU cooler. Right. With that out of the way, I am now going to apply some thermal paste. In this case, I am going to use Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut. The packet's here. Yep, Cryonaut. I'm going to use the X-pattern method because best spread, either that or I spread it manually, but I don't know if I can be bothered doing that, to be honest. I hope I've got enough in this tube. I think I have anyway, so I don't think I put enough there. Come on, give me some more. Ah, great. This tube has come to the end of its life. I'll have to get another packet. Give me a second. Apologies about that. Packet number 2. Who'd have thought I'd have to do this during this video, huh? Who'd have thought that? Who'd have thought that? Hey ho. Never mind. Right. Back to business. Apply this thermal paste on there. There we go. More than enough. Too much paste. Again, people say, what's too much, what's too little? In all honesty, it doesn't really matter as long as you've got enough. I mean, the mounting pressure will inevitably squeeze any excess out on the sides. Right. The way to mount this CPU cooler, I found is best, is to have this go around upside down and basically put this end in first to have it so it lines up with the VRM heatsink, because otherwise it'll be quite hard to put in. So I'll rotate that in. Don't know if you can see that on camera. Try and get that lined up. There we go. So now I'm in a position where the thumb screws can go in. If I can get this little, there we go, little O-ring there. Just first of all, just nip these up first. And because these have got the grooves for screwdrivers go into. Oh god, that's just moved out of the way. Go back in. Which way is it going? There we go. So nip them up first. And what I found is good is using a screwdriver. What will happen is, as you start using a screwdriver to tighten this, it will give you more mounting pressure, and it gets to a certain point where you can no longer tighten it because the screwdriver can no longer, with a Phillips head anyway, can no longer, add more torque because it will just slip. You see here, it's just slipping like that. So it gets to a point where it can no longer add more torque, and you can't really, I think this is probably designed to be like this so that you don't over tighten it. There you go. So, the CPU cooler is in. I'm just going to connect the CPU fan header. So, CPU fan header is this one over here. So I will connect up. Bit of excess in terms of cables. I'm a bit of a lazy git. A lot of people like to use zip ties, this and the other. I am going to just hide it underneath itself. Like so. So it's out of the way. I mean, cable management's going to be a nightmare in this case anyway, so that's that installed for now. Right, the RAM. There's two little clips on this side. This side doesn't have it. Not all motherboards have it. I think ITX in particular, and maybe Micro ATX sometimes might not have it on this side as well. ATX tends to have them. Right. With this CPU cooler and its size, and these heat sinks on the RAM, there is going to be a clash. These will not go in straight in. You will have to put it in at an angle. And the RAM modules will be at a slight angle. Not everyone's comfortable with doing that, but it is fine. So if I just want to clip in, and these heat sinks, because they're so, they make the RAM so wide, they are going to inevitably, the RAM sticks are inevitably going to touch. The RAM stick on closest to the heatsink actually makes contact with the copper fins as well in this case. So this one in as well. If I can find a slot, there we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Right, that's in. You can probably, I don't know if it's obvious or not, but it's very tightly packed. Very tightly packed. I mean, this is already getting dense. I'm not even joking. Already getting ridiculously dense. The next part, this is where the excuse me, I am very small instructions come in. So it's suggesting to install the power supply first at this point. I've also realised that I've not got my I/O shield, which will have to come in, which will have to be used. So I'll be back in a second again. Oh, I've got that now. Not going to forget that now since it's already here. Right, so so it's saying install a power supply first and then put that in place. So guess I'll have to swap over to the case for the time being. I'll put this to the side here. Take the case apart. That's the first thing. So these screws are going to have to come out. As we saw in the unboxing video, there are 4 screws per side panel, and there are a further 6 screws holding the back paneling. So, you know what, I need some place to put these screws in. I'm just going to use this lid because I'm too lazy. So, side panel 1, you can see this is the red one. One unboxed is a black one. Flip this around. One, 2, 3, and 4. There we go. There's side panel 2. So you can probably, I don't know if you can tell or not. There's a slight bow on the front. I don't know if you can see it or not. Slightly bowed, going inwards. So might need to push that out a little bit. I don't know. Right. Saying here to install the power supply first. Part of me thinks that's probably not going to work, but part of me thinks it probably should work. I don't think the power supply is going to fit. Not directly, anyway. I mean, the power supply does fit within the limitations of Flex ATX, but I don't think it's one of those where you put it in like this straight away. I think I'll take the back panel off first. One more. Two more. Three. Now, don't move like that on me. 4. 5. 6. I just pinged out. That's not confidence inspiring. Here we go. If I can get these little front panel case. Here we go. So this is the back panel, the red one. Power button on here. And this is the these are the cables for the power switch and power LEDs. Don't know if that can be seen on camera or move that forward. So oh god, lost focus. There we go, autofocus. There it is. So yeah, leave that out first. But I think the first thing I need to do is install the motherboard onto this. So one screw for the washer. Two screw with a washer. Holding the motherboard to the front panel. I'll move that to the side, probably put it in the same place. I mean, the different screws anyway, so. And then put out. Why won't you come out? Oh, there we go. So, looking at this, there is a bit of a bowl in there as well. I don't know if it'll help straightening it out. Probably will. I'm gonna look around and just make sure it's closer to being straight. Because who wants a bent computer? I don't know. It should figure itself out. Same with this front panel. It looks slightly bent, but it's not the end of the world. If now I show you, it might be easier to see the damage I mentioned at the start. Just focus in on. The camera doesn't want to focus. It's a bit of a nightmare. Oh god. It's not focusing. It's not behaving. Why you not behave? Oh, didn't want to do that. Try and see if it autofocus again. Damage on that corner there. Top side there. Anyway, this I will. Yeah, you can also see it's not like straight. Like it's almost like it's tighter. So it's like wider here than it is there. Manufacturing tolerances, probably. It'd be interesting to see how this works out when it comes to actually putting it all together. So now I need to put this in together. Which way does it go? I've got a strong feeling that it goes in this way. And I think I'm right. Now, when I unboxed it originally, there was this bag of screws. And the bag of screws I need are from this bag of screws. You see? A bag within a bag. So this contains... what does this contain? According to the instructions, it contains 10 screws, which are for the motherboard, the graphics card, and the graphics card extension ribbon, as well as the power supply screws. So we'll see about that. Let's open it up. This is going to go all over the table now. That's exactly what I need. Yep. There should also be 2 screws for SSDs, because the SSDs can be mounted on through the bottom. So just to show you now, power supply mounts on the bottom here. 1, 2, 3, 4. An SSD each side, 7mm. Dimensions, yeah, 2.5 inch. Right, so which screws are which? I will be honest, I have no idea, but I think based on the instructions, we are looking at using screws that are shaped like this with the, I guess, are they like inbuilt washers, would you call them? I don't know. Are they inbuilt washers? They kind of feel inbuilt, but how many are there? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I think there should be 10. Have I lost one already, or am I just blind? Nope, I'm just blind. So, yeah, these are 10 screws that I used here. So these screws, which are like so. These ones I used for the motherboard and the graphics card and whatnot. Then these look like fan screws. What the hell? Why have we got fan screws in here? Why do we need fan screws? No idea. Got 4 screws which look like they're typical fan screws. There are 5 screws here, which look like your typical power supply screw. And then there looks to be like, well, how many is that? That's 9 screws? For SSD mounting? You don't have 9 mounting spots. Are they there because they're worried about you losing them? I mean, I don't think many case manufacturers give you more than you need, but if that's the case, that's the case. Right, let's see if the screwdriver is the correct size. It is, right. So, I have to install this motherboard into this motherboard tray first, so just loosely put it in first, because the best way to do things, always make sure everything lines up and everything works before you put everything all in together, you know, properly and tightly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'll tighten up, just nip them up. You know, don't need to be super tight in these. Oh, I say don't need to be super tight. It needs to be tight enough that you know it's not going to move. But it's more of that you don't want to break anything. Right. I think the motherboard probably should go in now. But I would also imagine that this extension ribbon needs to be done now as well. Is there anywhere to open it? Well, thank the Lords, they've provided me with a tear on the bag. I'm pretty sure anti-static bags don't usually come in teared, but if it makes life easier for me, I'm not going to necessarily complain. There we go. Oh, what's this? Looks pretty nice, this. Not gonna lie, looks pretty nice. Never used a PCI extension cable before. I've used PCI extension, like 90-degree brackets before, in the cases like the Silverstone ML08, RVZ03, stuff like that. But, so on this side that's got a cover, that's this side, is the side that connects to your motherboard's, if it's focusing. Doesn't want to focus, doesn't want to focus, hold up. Come on now, focus. There we go. That's the side that connects to your motherboard. This other side, if it focuses, come on, there we go, is the side that connects to your actual graphics card. And the retention mechanism is quite interesting. It slides in and out. I quite like that, I'm not gonna lie. So, I want to now connect this to here. I will do now first before I forget anything else. Right, that's in. That's been latched on as well by the motherboard's retention clip. See it there. Hold on. This now has to. Oh god, this is actually already getting a bit heavy encompassing. This ends up folding back on itself, and then folds back up again to then mount to these 2 holes here. 1, 2. So now, so you got 1 hole there, 1 hole there. They line up to these 2 holes on the retention, the extension ribbon. So I'll mount those down first before I forget, because if I forget, it's going to be a nightmare. 1 in, 2 in. There we go, 2 in. Tighten those down. So it's already starting to feel very heavy. I'm not gonna lie, it's already starting to feel heavy. I don't know how much it's gonna weigh at the end. I've not got any scale small enough to put this on. Anyway, the next part I'd say is probably putting this into the PC and the power supply as well. And so first things first. This is the rear panel. I need to think about how things are going to go. The I/O is going to come out this way, which means the I/O shield has to go in this way. So clip that in place. Easy. On there now. Right, I now need to figure out the best way to do this. Motherboard into the case. I'm hoping this is the right decision, or should I put the power supply in first? If I put the power supply in, it needs to be mounted. This is a nightmare. Right, you know what? Screw it. This is pushing inwards, which is obviously not ideal. But I've lined up the holes, which is a starting point. I just need to put these screws in. Just try and get them in with my fingers first. Once a few threads are in, make life a bit easier. There's one. That's two. The case does say it's compatible with the CPU cooler and RAM. I think it might just be. It's hard to tell at the moment. It says it's compatible with these. It might the panel might push against the RAM. Maybe just about touch the CPU cooler, but I don't think the fan blades will actually make contact with the side panel, which is the most important part in this case. Right, I'm just gonna pull this out a little bit because it looks like it's still. Is it still splaying? This bottom side's splaying, that's for sure. It's a bit more like it. Yeah, it's a bit more like it. Right. So this is getting a bit heavy now. It needs stability. It needs that back panel on. But we need to put the back panel on. Need power supply in. So power supply. This monstrosity. Okay, I need to figure out how the cable's going to go in. So this power supply, just to give you a brief rundown, has got a 20+4 pin connector. It's probably not easy to see, but trust me on this one. It's got a 4+4 pin EPS. It's got a it's got two 6+2 pin PCI-E power connectors, which daisy chained. It has 4 SATA power connectors, so it's two lots of 2 daisy chained. Yeah, and it also has 3 daisy chained Molex power connectors, along with a floppy, which obviously nowadays no one has a use for. So in terms of actual power connectors I only actually need these 3. These are all redundant in this build. I may get rid of them, I may not. I'm going to be modding this power supply at some point. I think chances are I will leave it with maybe 1 Molex and one SATA here and there, just to have something there if someone chooses to have, let's say in the future, let's say I sell this PC, someone wants to add SSDs down the sides and whatnot next to the power supply, they can fit them. It's okay then. Right, so the way I'm going to do this is figure out where the cable's going to go out and how I'm going to do these cables. So the PCI Express power wants to come out on the right side, because that's where the graphics card is going to be. 24 pin and 4+4 EPS are going to go on the left. The rest of the cables can go anywhere they want. I guess they can. They kind of, you know what? I'll put them to the right side first. I'll put them to the right side. Figure out the rest after. Make sure this goes in first. Oh, I'm full on pushing against the cables there to get them in, but I think we're there. I think it will work. I think it will work. I'm also thinking of putting the graphics card in first as well, because I think it will be a nightmare to put it in afterwards. So, first things first. Can I take pass play out now? Bit more difficult, but pass play out first. Graphics card. It should fit. Actually, first things first, pull this tab back on this extension. There we go. Extension ribbon's got now tab pulled back. Push this in. If I can get the slot lined up. There, I'm nearly there. I'm nearly there. Or have I not pulled the slot out fully? Let's have a look now. No, slot's out. Come on! Don't be trolling me. Let me get it in. Bloody heck, this is actually... Why the hell's it not going in? You know what? This is the thing about builds like this. In theory, they're amazing. In practice, they're a nightmare. Right. So, just to get things sorted and all lined up. Card. We've got the back end in the front. Hey, there we go. Pull the tab in. Boom, sorted. Graphics card now in. And now, I hope this is. Oh, that's magnetic. God. Right. And now, screws in place. If it allows me to. Give me a moment. Come on, give me this. There we go. Get in there. Get in the hole. That is where you belong. There's one. There's two. Oh my god. Just realised the power cable's going to come out there. I'm going to have a nightmare routing the cables to this. Jeez Louise. Right. Woohoo! That's a heavy box. That's a heavy box. And another thing I'm going to note now. The graphics card's backplate is actually pushing up against... It's being pushed against. So that may cause some issues. I'm not sure what is pushing up against it. It could be the riser cable. I'm going to see if I can check if I can get the riser cable bending a bit further down. Because if the riser cables, if the riser cable might be, probably made longer than they need to be. But, if they're too short, they're not going to reach their destination. So let me have a look. Here. No, it's made to be this way. This is going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting fit, because if the side panels have an issue with the fan, then I'm going to have to maybe put some sort of maybe foam block maybe, just to prevent the side panel from making contact with the fan. So if you look from, oh god, this is heavy already. You look from this side, you can see the graphics cards kind of splaying out on the side. Got the feeling it's being pushed back by potentially it's actually, I think if the actual conflict is coming from the motherboard standoff tray thing. If I move this, if I bend this back, it's not going to change much. It's not going to change much. So it's going to all get squashed together. Probably need to have something here to, push against the side panel so it doesn't make physical contact in that sense. But part of me thinks the graphics card going in now could be an issue as well, because it's of how little space there is there. Trying to fit it in before the side panel is going to be a nightmare, because it's not going to want to fit, is my guess. Part of me now thinks the power supply should have gone in first, but part of me thinks it shouldn't have. Right, you know what? I'll carry on. We'll figure it out as we go along. So, I know everything works. I've tested everything on its own. To build in this case is the first time. That is a genuine first. So, I tried to split up the cable out this way. This doesn't really help, but hey ho, let's try and push it in slowly. Right, first things first. The other power cables I'm not too bothered about. They can probably end up hiding under the graphics card. Around this area. The any excess cables from the CPU motherboard side can probably go in the front behind the RAM. How I connect this power cable up is a genuine mystery now. I'm trying to think how best to do this. Because if this is done like this, I would need the power cable to go behind the graphics card. This is the most bizarre thing I've done. Anyway, you know what? I'll take the graphics card out first. Now that I think about it, now that I've thought about it, graphics card probably is not best off being saved to last just before the back panel. You know, with the way the instructions say it, I'm not sure if it's the instructions are because the case is slightly different to the V1 version. I mean, this is a V2. The V1, I believe, had not honeycomb, hexagon shapes for its event cutouts, and the the front panel screwed in, not the back panel, like in this one. So just along on the side and cut out. There we go. I'll leave that hanging for now. I actually need to route the cables first. So 1, 2, 3 cables, which are the most important ones. Get those in the right place first. Shove it in. There we go. Now this cable's getting in the way, but this is what it is. Right. Okay. This is now a game of how the hell this is like cable jigsaw now. We want this cable to go to the top, but that for a power supply side comes out the bottom. This is no sense whatsoever. So this will have to go up some. I'm trying to figure out which way best to have this cable routed. If I have it like this, up the side, as you can see, there's more than enough cable to the end of the graphics card. But then to actually connect to the graphics card is going to be the next challenge. You'll have extra cable hanging about by the top source vent. But yeah, this is actually ridiculously long. Holy crap! I thought power supply cables are quite kind of short. They weren't, you know, they might be insufficient. But now that I see it in person and see how this case all comes together, it's like holy crap! There's actually way more cable than you need. So that's roughly in a good position, I think. These other cables, they don't need to exist. There are lots of people who buy power supplies which have been modified to have like modular cables which are shorter, etc. I didn't want to go down that route just because it's a bit, I don't know, I'm not a fan of having power supplies like that, just because it's kind of like a bit niche in a sense, because obviously this is an actual Flex ATX power supply. It conforms to the standard, therefore you don't have issues in that sense. So these cables can all hide here under the graphics card. Now I'm just going to focus on the motherboard side first. So just turn this over there. Just not swashing the cables. Right. The CPU power connector goes in there, so I need to try and see if I can actually reach there first before anything else. Ideally, I can. Need to put onto the motherboard. 1, 2. That's in. Okay, I need to support this motherboard as I'm doing this now. This cable, pardon my language, has to now. You see, these cables are too long. These need to be trimmed. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I thought these cables are quite short, but once you try and fit it in this case, it actually feels ridiculously long. This power cable has to go here onto the 24-pin power connector. If I can get it in. Right, so now the 24 pins in, the 8-pin EPS is in. So this cable has to basically stretch all the way that way. Yeah, this definitely needs to be short. This cable definitely needs to be shortened. It's way too long. Chop off a good 10 centimeters off this. This is just going to have to all get shifted north, like that. This cable will have to get shifted down in front of the power supply. Just trying to see if I can move this zip tie a little bit. There we go. So this has to go down. This has to go up, and it'll be there or thereabouts. But yeah, this is all. This case is all flexing. It's it's actually a horrible case to build in terms of actual building experience wise. Right. So I've got the CPU motherboard side sorted. The graphics card side. Oh dear lord. Yeah, I'm gonna probably connect this power cable first and figure it out after, because this is gonna be one tough cookie to crack. If I do like this, it should still fit, I think. I need to get the graphics card in first before I get too ahead of myself, which it's not in yet. It's not in yet. It's not in yet. It's nearly in. Just slide that. Slide it. There we go. The tension's on. Put this down. Ooh, this is actually a horrible cable. Oh, it's a bit stiff here. Cables. But it is what it is. Turn it to the side, turn this to the side towards the top. Hopefully there's enough space. It looks like it's just about gonna fit. Just about. Not even gonna lie. It's like the graphics card power wants to push out of the way, but I think I've got it in a position where it's able to hold on. Just need to make sure I can get the screws down. Just need to be able to get the screws down. So, one down, two down. These excess cables, for crying out loud, there's actually way too many. Look how much there is, but if what I'm saying is going to work, I should be able to just hide these cables underneath the graphics card. Because there is genuinely not enough space anywhere else to fit them. Jesus Christ, this ketchup mustard mess is like a horrible one. There's too many cables. Right, it's roughly there now. Oh my god, this is actually horribly big, etc. I don't know how I want to put it. Right, I'm gonna try and put. Oh my god, I need to do front panel connections as well. Where's the front panel connector? Oh god, it's right on the other side. Oh dear, fucking lord, pardon my language. How am I gonna do this? Ideally, I'd want to go under the graphics card to get there, but because it's a pain in the backside, I'll just go over this gap here if it'll let me. So this is graphics card. Once again, hey, there we go. Push through over the top there. I'm just gonna figure it out in a moment. I just need to first of all get this all to fit, because it looks like everything might not fit. I don't know if it'll all fit on. If it all fit, it'll be grand. Come on, underneath the top panel. There we go. Everything just needs to line up just a bit better. Come on. Jesus Christ. How hard is it to build in this case? So it looks like nothing wants to line up right now. What the hell's going on? Oh wait, nope. I think I might be getting there. Might be getting somewhere. Right. I'm almost certain the graphics card's supposed to latch onto the outside as well. Because if that's the case, I'm going to have to make a few changes here. Just trying to see how this all works out. Because the front panel's fine. The graphics card looks like it's a sticking point. Take all these other cables out of the way first. Now mount the power supply. That's probably the first thing I need to do, just because it's in the way. One. There's 2. Hold on. Which type of screws am I supposed to be using for power supply? Looks like it should be this type. Yep. Wait, hold on. It's got round cap ones. There are no like round cap. Okay, is these? Yeah, these are the ones. So 1, 2, 3 on the power supply. If I mount everything else in place first, then deal with the graphics card, that might work better. Just put these in loosely. Put them too tight, and I'll have an issue of trying to get it all lined up afterwards. So make sure everything will fall in place before I jump too far ahead of myself. That does not line up as I would expect, so I'm trying to see why. Top panel pushing. This is where tolerances come in. One of the things about fabricated metal is that trying to get things inch perfect, like millimeter perfect, is very difficult. You know, it's not very repeatable due to the fact that its material properties won't allow it, basically. You know, no 2 pieces of metal are the same. They may be of the same specification, they may be made from the same factory. No 2 pieces of metal are going to be the same. And I'm starting to see that now, because some things are just not lining, some things just don't appear to want to line up. And I need to try and manually shift parts around to get them lined up, and there we go. So the graphics card was causing a bit of a compatibility issue there. Is screw thread put in properly? I can't tell. It looks like it's going to cross thread on something, which is not good at all. Can I push forward a bit more here? There or thereabouts now. Come on. There we go. Okay, so the screws are roughly in. I'm going to screw them tight now just to see what we are dealing with. There's a graphics card side looks like the nightmare side, but it looks like I don't need to have anything, the bracket sticking out. It looks like it works fine. The I/O panel looks like it's doing okay. Power supply's in. I need to screw in the graphics card, so that would be these kind of screws, I think, normally. If it's not, I would genuinely be surprised. I'm going to try one and see if it is correct. Nope, apparently not. Apparently it's these round ones here, these round with the flats, I think. So look now. If only the case a bit more normal, but yeah, a bit more normal, but yeah, it's they use these screws, these tiny little panhead panhead. Are they panhead? I can't bloody remember now. So yeah, these small screws are the things that'll hold down your graphics card. Not really a common occurrence. Never would have occurred to me that you'd use screws as small, but apparently do. So most of it is coming together. Oh my days, that is dense as hell. Holy crap! That's heavy! That's heavy. Right, so before I get too far, first things first, I want to tidy up graphics card side. I need next to front I/O. Not that there's much of it. So first things first, graphics card side. This is actually quite easy in the sense that, I mean, I'm going to take this apart again at some point. I'm going to mod the cables. I am going to reduce the number of connectors there are because, quite, frankly speaking, there's too many. Who uses Molex? Who uses Molex? I don't know who uses Molex anymore. Why is it still a thing? Why do PC components still use Molex? No idea. SATA, do you really need that many? Does it need to be that long either? I don't know. I'll probably get rid of 2 of the legs. Just leave them here. Get rid of most of the legs here. Have 1 Molex. Reduce the amount of cable clutter. That's much more desirable. Anyway, I'm gonna put these cables in here just to see. Well, just to see. I want to see how much I can cram in here. I think I'll be able to fit all these cables in without issue. And that does look to be the case. I do think at some point I would like to try and see if it's possible to put like an exhaust fan at the top, but it's a bit difficult with how little space there is at the top here. I have seen that, you know, based on my experimentation, if you were to put a fan right up against the back plate here, you'd be able to put a 40mm fan, but the problem is the ribbon cable there. I think that would be practically be impossible. So that's a project that's not going to happen. Fans going out on the top here. Can't do it on this side either because the PCI-E riser card gets in the way as well. So you might be able to do 3D printed brackets for the top here to have fans directing air over the top of the where the SSD area, this empty space. But the problem you've got, because it's positive pressure, it'll try and leak heat out here. So if you have more positive pressure, it'll leak more heat away. Don't know how it's going to work. But I've seen stuff online where it's like it's better to have fans up here to then push more air to then allow for the heat to get out faster. Right, so with that in mind, I am first of all going to close this side panel off. So, which one I use? Does it really matter? No, not really. Is there an issue with the fan? Oh, okay. As I feared, there does appear to be a bit of conflict with the fan on this graphics card. Is there a way to push the card further in? Just to try and avoid this? I don't know. This is what happens when you work with such small components, such small cases. You're pushing the the physical limitations pretty far. So if I put this down again and put this on, is it going to have? This looks like, yeah, it's still going to touch. So you'd need something to physically push against the graphics card. I don't really have anything here at the moment, so this is a slight predicament. Let's have a look. That's not going to provide much. I was hoping to find something. I'm hoping to find something to, stop this issue. I mean, personally, I'd probably end up sticking something on there. I just don't have anything to stick on there at the moment. So I'll close the case up first. I'm going to have to figure out what to do in this case, because you can see, I don't know if you can see here. Oh, God. This is heavy. But yeah, so when you try to put the side panel on, you'll see that the fan making contact. So, yeah, some sort of physical barrier is needed. If I try this side panel, will it help at all or not? Nope, same issue. As soon as you push it in. Actually, as soon as you push it in, is it going to be an issue? It looks like you may get away with it. Nope, you can't. You need to have something physically pushing against this heatsink, away from this. So maybe 2 hard pieces of plastic or something to prevent that from conflicting. But I'll close it up first, just to give people a sense of how crazy this kind of build is, because they say size matters. and it does to an extent. One thing to note, as I said previously, tolerances are a bit of an issue, so I'm having to twist this panel forwards in order to actually get to the mounting hole here. No two cases are the same either, but I think bigger cases have got much, you know, better tolerances than some, you know, because they're all, you know, they're riveted together, etc. So this case isn't. This case is fabricated. What's together with screws. And when the fan blades scrubbing right up against the side panel, obviously it's not going to do its job. It's not going to work. Yeah. So that's the first thing I've learned so far. Definitely need some physical around this fan. Oh, actually, speaking of that, I might have something. Hold up. I might have something. Because I did buy a rubber grommet for a 120mm fan at one point. I don't know if that's going to work. I know the fan in this is 100mm, but it may provide a physical barrier. Give me a second. This rubber grommet, I don't know if it's going to help at all. I'm going to put it around. This is a 120mm fan grommet for a 120mm fan. As I've said, 120mm, 120, a lot of times. Is it going to help with this around there? I do not know. I hope it helps, but part of me doubts it. Won't know until I try it. So if I put this on there now, am I able to get the fans to move? You know what? This is where I just screw the side panel in and hope for the best. Tolerances, not the strong point of the SGPC K39. That's one thing I will say for sure, right? I'm just going to now twist this forward to get the screw in. Oh, you can see it's bulging out because of it, because of this fan grill, so it might actually help. I've seen somebody do the same build, but, well, I say it's same build, very similar build with the same graphics card, but they had to resort to installing the side panel outside in, so you don't use the chamfered edges, you use the outside edges, which are not chamfered, to screw it in, which means that you've got a bit more panel gap space, but I don't quite want to do that. I want to have the proper tolerance, but at the same time, I want this side panel to close properly. It'd be nice if I can get that done. That's the first thing I'll say. It would be very nice if I can get the panel closed. But first of all, if I screw this in a bit more, I might have more of a chance, because then I have to push this down harder to shift this further forward. Take it that down. Okay. I think I've hit the jackpot here. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I've hit the jackpot. Let me just push this forward a bit more. And I push this. If I push this further forward, and now tighten it properly, I can feel the stress in there from the main chassis, from the front, trying to push back, but because it's actually bowed at the front, but with enough tension force, this isn't a problem. And now the fans, I can't reach the fan with this. The fan can spin freely. The fan can now spin freely. So yeah, 120mm fan grommet comes in handy for this build, because I'm just going to use this to spin the fan now. The fan can just about, I don't know by how much, a skin of its teeth, but it's able to spin freely. How thick even is that rubber? I don't know, but it doesn't really affect the side profile too much, I don't think. Not really a noticeable bulge. It's not really bulging, to be honest. Even if it is, it's not very noticeable at all. Right, so that's that side done. This side. Before I put these cables into their resting places, I need to put this front panel power and resets, power LED and power switch in place. If anything, I'm only bothered really about the power switch, I think. Which one's the power switch? I'm trying to remember now. Power switch is down there. It'd be great if I had the manual on hand, but I only need the power switch. The power LED is a bit of a faff. There we go. Power switch is in. And what I'll do, just put these cables under the PCI Express, in the PCI Express slot, and the M.2 slot. Kind of out of the way, tucked out the way. If I can get it in there. There we go. And then hide them in the front somewhere. There we go. Now, 24-pin power in. You can see this is like it's trying to resist 8-pin CPU power in. You can see there now. It's quite packed. See, there's an empty space here. Would have been nice if they had some kind of fan slot there, maybe. Can this fit in fine? Looks like it can. Can these fans spin? Yep, the CPU heatsink fan, I can confirm, has got no problem spinning. The RAM doesn't appear to cause any issues either, even though it's 51mm in height. CPU cooler maximum limit of 47, yet there's a limit of 51 for RAM, but apparently Corsair RGB ones work, even though they are above 47. It makes no sense. It's like one rule for one thing, another rule for another. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is put the screws in at the front again, most of the way there, so that I can use that as a lever to push the rest of the side panel forwards to compensate for the bowed panel, or the bowed front panel, if it allows me to. There we go. Just now I have to push. Yeah, you have to push it down first, then move it forward. It's a bit of a faff, but once you get it all in, it works pretty well. If I can find the holes here now. Oh, I need to move this up. Wait, what? What happened with tolerances? What happened with tolerances? Did I just undo this back panel and push it down a bit more? There we go. The holes weren't lining up because, you know, if one thing's slightly out of place, everything else becomes out of place, and it becomes a nightmare to try and figure out where the correct place is, etc. Am I going to have the bottom panel out of place now? Or am I going to push that forwards? I think I'll have to push that. Yeah, push that forwards. Okay, so if I just push that really far forwards, there's that in. There's that in. That's in. And that's in. Oh, that's a beast. That's a beast. So, you can see, fan spinning freely here. The fan spinning freely here. So, what have I learned from this build? Well, first things first. It's heavy as hell. Just to prove something. Here is the backpack I regularly use for my laptop and stuff. This can physically fit in your backpack without issue. However, it is pretty damn dense. A very dense system. The graphics card, and as much as I'd like to add more exhaust to it, I think it'll be a struggle. The air's going to get sucked in through here because it vents the way the fins are aligned. Basically, what it kind of targets for the heat to come out from the back and the front. The front obviously got nowhere for the heat to go. If it does go anywhere, it could 1, recirculate, or 2, go back up. So potentially an option to prevent that from happening is to have some sort of vanity panel preventing the airflow from recirculating. So it kind of forces the air to go one way. If the airflow going this way to go up, that panel it can still exhaust. What else is there? Oh, there's a bit of a squeak when you push it on this side. But it's not too bad. the motherboard power and CPU power. Do I need to trim them in length? I don't know. I may do. May consider it. Don't know if it's really obvious or not. It's hard to tell here, but you know, the amount of resistance from power cable trying to stay in is quite significant. I don't know if that's even held down fully now at this point since it's squeaking. I think it is. Yeah, it is. So, yeah. Don't know what to say. Is this a good case building? Yes. It took me how long? About an hour? It's probably, I'm not going to lie, this is probably one of the quickest builds I've ever done. Hands down, probably one of the quickest builds I've ever done in my entire life. But boy, is it heavy. And this has got, what? An Intel Core i7 9700K, 32 gigs of DDR4, 3200 megahertz CL16, an RTX 2070 Aero ITX. I mean, I don't know. What do I have to say about this? This is heavy as hell. It's like ridiculously heavy. I mean, I reckon this is a good, what, at least 5 kilos. That's what I'm thinking. Unless my scales are real, you know, unless my arms are just ridiculously weak. I don't know, but it's ridiculously dense. You know, it's packing a lot of power. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it performs when the time comes. I will be looking at taking this apart, sleeving the cables in black, because, you know, ketchup mustard cables. I mean, you can see them down here. It's a bit nah. Get rid of some of the cables because a lot of them we don't need. On this side as well, get those cables sleeved as well. Maybe try and find somebody who can create a 3D printed bracket. You know, to maybe add some fans at the top here for extra airflow. Or say above the M.2 SSD area. I don't know. I honestly don't know. What I do know is I actually enjoyed my build experience of this. I genuinely enjoyed it. Tolerances here and there are a bit off. Okay, that's not the biggest issue in the world. I mean, what do you expect? This is made of, you know, basically sheet aluminium. You know, I believe the specs page said between 1.5 mil and 2 mil thick aluminium. It's fine. It is. It's solid. And that's all I have to say about it. But yeah. To those who have been watching this entire time, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed this hour-long, well, it's over an hour long now, hour-long build video for this case. And yeah, if you liked what you saw, you know, please give it a thumbs up. You know, maybe subscribe as well. I might, you know, to see the updates that we'll be doing, which will include delidding the i7-9700K in here and doing thermal comparisons with and without liquid metal and custom copper IHSs. And also, you know, I might see an update to show you what I've done with to the build with the power supply cables. Yeah, that's all I have on the table for you. This finished build. So yeah, thank you very much for watching once again. I've been Sunni Fung, and catch you in the next one.